Hey folks, this is Gray here, and today we're going to dive into a couple of different things by OBI, which is the sister company of Olight. It's kind of more of their EDC brand, their camping outdoorsy kind of site versus, more of the multifunctional flashlights and whatnot that we usually go over. But we'll be doing a video of those folks as well because it's, I'm going to say, instead of Prime Day, I'm going to just say Prime Week. There's a lot of companies out there that are, having all these sales. And technically, OBI's labeling theirs as the summer sale. So, it's everybody's getting out there and doing their things out in the woods. And yeah, so we're going to talk about specifically the OKNIFE Otacle A1 Multifunctional Hatchet. And what I decided to do in this video is I figure we'll go outdoors and look how the hatchet performs. And then we'll come back to me and go on the bench and kind of look at the specifics, the steel, what it's made out of, the composition and whatnot, the hatchet itself. I was, thoroughly happy with this. Some people, it's, I'm going to say this is more of a pack axe or a hatchet. Depending on how you look at it, they're very similar in nature. Axes, usually you're thinking of more of the larger size type of products. But I like that it came with the sheath and it has the Kydex on there and whatnot. The G10 handles, and I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but I like the fact that it has anything that's multifunctional to me is always a plus, because that's just less stuff that I have to pack in my bag. Because let's say if you have a pack axe or a pack hatchet or whatever you want to call it, and but then you also have a pry bar, you have a hammer, you have this and you have that. Anything that can serve multiple purposes outside of just one purpose, to me, is going to lessen the weight in my thing. And we'll discuss the weight of this as well, versus, because when you're carrying a pack out in the woods, depending if you're just going out hunting or if you're just going out for whatever reasons, or if this is something in your go bag or your, bug out bag or whatnot, you want to kind of lessen the weight as much as possible, of course, depending on your stature and what you're capable of doing. Anyways, so let's go to the woods real quick, look at some of the performance of the hatchet itself, and then we'll come back to the table and kind of break this thing down, get you a nice close-up look and kind of point out a few things, and go from there. Quick, before we head off into the woods, I also wanted to say that I'm also going to showcase another little product that came. It's kind of like a keychain, multi-bit driver set, something you can put in your keychain. It's called the Otacle D1. It's a kind of titanium multi-driver bit, but it's very compact, a little neat. We'll do some size comparisons of it, show you what you get in there and stuff like that. Last time I looked, they were sold out on the site. The sale actually started yesterday, but I think it goes through the 12th. Don't quote me on that. Go to check out their site. I'll have all the links down in the description. But I wanted to touch on that too, because they sent it to me, and I started using it to see how well it works and whatnot, and doing some deep dive research, which I'll share with you in regards to the material that the device is made out of. All right, enough of me rambling. Let's get to the woods. I wanted to bring this out here in the woods and kind of test a few things on it, how it chops. We'll find some sort of smaller tree or whatnot. I'm not going to be chopping down some, 40-foot redwood or something like that out here. Not that there's redwoods in Florida or whatnot, but you kind of get where I'm going with that. On the bench part, we'll end up getting up close and taking a look at some of the other things, but I'll show you real close, real quick, the sheath. And what I like about it so far, like I said, this is kind of like a multi-purpose axe. All right, so real quick before we start using this axe here, I wanted to show you the contours of it and the look of it, plus the sheath itself, which is really nice. I love the OD green here. As you can see, the spine is a solid spine all the way through, so it's a solid piece of metal. And it also has this clip so that you can hook it up to your belt right here. And basically, you're just going to flip that open, pop this open, and you're going to put your belt through here, and then you'll go ahead and lock that in so it's attached to your belt. All right, so I don't want to get too destructive. Because I'm not going to be using this wood and processing this wood, so I don't want to. This is kind of the most dead possible sapling that I can find. It's not a sapling, but it's a tree, but a very small tree. The diameter is probably about maybe a little 3.5 inches or so. And I'm going to work on this and show you how the axe works with this specific tree right here. Usually I like to leave this here, because then this will kind of start growing back, and you'll see the tree kind of growing back from this section right here, so it'll grow upwards. So I don't want to cut it too low, so I'm going to cut it right here, and I'm going to cut down first. So what I'm going to do is, using my first marking part, kind of get an idea of where I want to hit it at. So then I'll kind of like start chopping at that area right there. So as you can see here, I've cut deep onto this side. If you look up here, I'm holding the tree with one hand because the tree's going to want to go that way. But I want to make sure that I'm aware that where the tree's going to fall before I make the last couple of cuts. All right, so now the tree's ready to fall. I'm going to let that tree fall that way. Got the tree. All in all, not too bad for this little hatchet. As you can see the size of the tree there. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring this tree and lay it right up here. And I would probably be finishing the tree, knocking some of these small little branches off. You want to be careful you're not swinging the axe towards your leg, because that's the last thing you want to do is injure yourself with something that sharp. What I would usually do, depending on what I'm doing, is I would set this up to where I want it, depending on the size of piece of wood that I'm trying to cut. So depending on the fire or whatever that you're trying to do with this wood, you find the size that's going to work best for you. And then here, I would start chopping away again. You can see the amount of energy that it takes to use an axe of this size to cut a small tree and process this wood can be a bit overexerting for some folks, and that's why some people like myself, we carry like a silky saw. One, the axe is a lot louder, the silky saw is a lot quieter. For me, using a silky saw is a lot more efficient at processing this. Trying to get rid of this bark. There's a knot right there. But as you can see, that blade is super sharp, ripping through that like it's nothing. Now let's say you wanted to do some feathering with this knife. Since it does have a nice blade, you can do some feathering with it. So if you wanted to use it for something like that, you could. This is really wet, but you're going to get these curls and let them dry out. So the last thing I want to touch on is the pry bar end of this thing here. Now this is a piece of dead wood that I got down here, but I just kind of wanted to show you how you would kind of stick that in there and push things out. Let's say if you were looking for, you were trying to find some grubs or something to munch down on. So tasty, right? But you can do that with something like this and break that apart. Also, you can dry out this wood and use this part for tinder as well. But you can kind of get in here with that pry bar and just kind of get in this dry wood, depending on what you're looking for. Now you can chop at it as well, but it's a little bit more destructive. So usually I like to do layers, come in with this and pop little pieces off. Kind of moving things around like that. There's no grubs, so I guess I'm starving today, but you guys kind of get the idea. Outside of using this in a civilian world where you just pry open doors and other things that you would need to get into during a SHTF scenario. All right, folks. Well, that was fun. Being out in the woods, spending time with the family out there. The whole family actually went out in the woods. But anyways, so here it is. Here's the OKNIFE Otacle A1 Multifunctional Hatchet. So I guess let's kind of focus in on the sheath first, to kind of give you an idea of the sheath. As you can see, it's held on there really well. I do like the aspect of the belt clip, kind of like I discussed real quickly out there in the field on how it clicks to your belt. And I'll throw something on the screen so you can kind of see how it sits on the waist and whatnot. Or if you have a way to loop this through your pack or whatnot, it's a nice way to kind of attach that to that and lock it in so that's in there nice and tight. So that's the sheath itself. Let's go ahead and pull off that sheath. You got the two buckles here. I'm going to take that off, and then we're basically going to slide that out from the sheath itself. So pull that there. As you can see, there is the components of this. And this thing here is extremely sharp, folks. This blade is extremely sharp. So that's why I'm thinking you want to make sure that when you're using this, that you use it in a safe manner. Now they call this a finger hole. I guess some folks may want to, if they want to do some small things and use it, kind of like some of the demonstrations I was using. I didn't use it in that manner, but you can kind of get maybe a little bit more tuning with that. Who knows? Specifically, some of you other folks out there that are hatchet or axe guys, maybe you guys can throw something down in the comments in regards to that. So let's kind of go over the axe itself. So here, this is of course your blade, your cutting edge here. And then here is your hammer part. And I'm going to go over the different steels and whatnot of this, because this part of the hatchet itself is a different steel than the actual hatchet. And then of course you have your pry bar. Kind of spin this around here. You have your pry bar, which to me it's great. You know what I mean? And I like the fact that they did actually put this little notch in here, so that if you were trying to pull some nails out or you know, pry open a door or whatnot, this would become in handy. So not only could you use this for camping and all that fun stuff like that, but I guess you could also use it as a weapon in a urban environment, you know what I mean? If you had to get up and close and personal with some folks, because you could probably do some severe damage either with this end of it, that end of it, and if you needed to get into buildings or whatnot or pry things open, you could use that as well. This is a G10 handle, if you guys are familiar with the G10. So it's very durable stuff, and it gives you a nice solid grip on there, you know what I mean? Even when you're sweaty, this still has a decent grip to it. So the metal that it's made out of specifically is what they, and this is going to be this is going to be a mouthful, folks, but it's called 50CR15 MOV stainless steel. Now, in layman's terms, it's a German mid-range martinistic stainless steel, mainly used for high-quality kitchen knives. It's high in chromium. It makes great corrosion resistance, but also it's soft enough to keep this blade nice and sharp as well. And basically, this steel is going to be different than actual blade steel. So this steel here, the hammer face, is going to be 30CR13 stainless steel. Now that being said, some people are going, well, great, what does that mean specifically? So when it comes to certain types of steel, there's reasons why, you know, they make specific types of steels for certain reasons. I'm going to throw up on the screen some information on the steel that's used, but I mean, they've used it anything from, you know, tools and whatnot, and also stuff like bearings and mining equipment. So it's very tough steel. So it's going to last you quite some time. In regards to the price for something like this, I think it's on sale for like 64 bucks or something like that. I think it's regularly priced about 80 bucks. Anyways, I want to go ahead and move over to what I was going to talk about. Next is the OKNIFE Otacle D1 EDC Titanium Multi-Drip Driver. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and throw a couple of things down that you guys can see the size difference. Actually, let me move the box out the way. Throw that down there. There's an OKNIFE. There's an olight Arkfeld. To kind of give you an idea of the size of this little Otacle D1. Outside of this is a TC4 titanium alloy. That's what this is made out of, the outside. And the inside here in this little hidden compartment is where you have your bits. You dump those out there. And there's 4 bits with dual heads, so you have a total of 8 heads on there total. You can see that there. You got a couple star bits in there. You got a couple Phillips, some flatheads and whatnot. And that gives you a total of those. And like I said, they all fit nice and neat inside this little compartment, so that when you're not using them, you can just kind of put them in there and they kind of slide right in. Now, one thing I do like about this is that when you're not using them, you put it in there, and whichever one that you're using, I think this is magnetic on the inside of it. We'll flip it around and get the flathead on there so that you can see that. And that's how you use the driver itself. So I like the fact that it's in there pretty good. It's not falling out. And I like that you can store these in here. I like this. I would use this for a keychain. They kind of give you a piece of, I don't know if it's paracord or whatnot. Most likely it looks like paracord, to kind of make this into some sort of like you kind of necklace or whatnot. But for me, that's not something I would use it for. I would definitely put this on my keys. And let me open this up and put this back in here together so I do not misplace anything. Because when you're done using something, you always kind of want to put it away. But anyways, those bits in there, that's S2 steel. Now, S2 steel is used for things like screwdrivers and driver bits. S2 basically is like shock resistant steels. They make things out of like springs, chisels, dies for forging and punches and whatnot. So the bits themselves are S2. And I'm curious, do you guys have anything like this on your EDC key rings or other gadgets that you keep on there? Like, I don't know, like a window punch or anything like that? I'm very curious to see some of the comments down below in regards to what people have on their EDC, you know, the keys and whatnot. We could probably do a whole video just on that. I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts, you know, on the Otacle A1, you know, basically multifunctional hatchet. What are your thoughts on it? What do you think about the material? Do you think it's something that you would use in your pack, or, you know, if you're out camping, or maybe you have a homestead and you just want something to keep around that's very, it has that purpose of using as a hammer or a hatchet or a pry bar or a nail puller, whatever the case may be. Love to hear your thoughts down in the comments, as well as the OKNIFE Otacle D1 titanium multi-bit driver. If anything, if you're interested in any of these products or you want to check out their sale or whatnot, of course, all the links will be down in the description. I'm pretty sure, I think I have a discount code with those folks. That'll be down there. If I don't, my apologies. It's anything I go over, like I always said, you don't really have to purchase anything. It's just a review, and always look forward to kind of engaging with you, the viewers, and your thoughts on some of the things that I'll be reviewing on the channel. Other than that, folks, I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. It's always truly appreciated. Share this out with someone that you might think that might benefit from something like this. And if you're new here, please subscribe and check out the rest of the channel. Other than that, remember, folks, you are not alone. This is GreyMan. I'm out. I'll see you guys in a rebound. And God bless everyone out there. And thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video.